Hello, Dr. Charles. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Going well, Elisha. Thank you for having me.
Beautiful, and thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, Dr. Charles, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, I want to say thank you so very much, Dr. Charles, for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invest that in yourself. And oftentimes, Doctor, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some couple of months back,
Okay.
I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Doctor, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I used the word unattractive
Okay.
because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, Dr. Charles, just recently I was on that same road. And this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree, you see. The mango tree caught my attention
hmm
pretty good from a distance. And immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now
Okay.
the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. And not just mangoes now, doctor. I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely experience that day. I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Dr. Charles that you are today, that alone has made it impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, your philosophies, your impact, the way you're offering your solutions, your insight. The stuff's so beautiful. And just before I sent you that request, my man, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Dr. Charles is doing. And not only
Yeah,
me,
that's fair. I appreciate
yeah, man, and even with the audience. So I've got to say thank you so very much for doing that to yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elijah could do about it. Thanks so much, my
it. Yeah.
man.
Yeah, appreciate you for reaching out. It's really cool. I'm excited for the conversation for sure.
Beautiful, man. So let's get started. You see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today, Dr. Charles, for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Doctor, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. And you see, not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, Doctor, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason
Yeah, yeah.
why I'm excited to have the incredible Dr. Charles on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, Doctor, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So those folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, Doctor, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Dr. Charles, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how Dr. Charles got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Doctor, over to you.
Fair enough. Well, again, appreciate you, Elisha, for having me on your show and your willingness to have the conversations and talk about the journeys of people and the things that folks in the world are trying to do to make their parts of the world a better place. So my name is Charles Thomas. I've been father of three, married for 13 years or so now. And the journey has been one of interest in the sense of trying to navigate this landscape, right? The ups and the downs. Like one of the things that we talk about that I'm very interested in at the person level. Elisha, I'm almost irrationally passionate about human performance, human achievement, the pursuit of excellence as a demonstration of human potential, right? So for me, it's really important for people to put in effort to get to where they want to go. One of the things that I know is a truism of life that for myself and everybody I know is that life requires everything from us, but it offers nothing in return, right? Like we have to completely put in significant effort without knowing the outcome, right? We don't know if we're going to win first place in a race. All we know is that we have to train for it. We have to practice. We have to run. We have to ride our bike. We have to swim. We have to do whatever it is for that particular activity without knowing the outcome. So that's how we were raised, in the sense of you have a freedom from attachment from the outcome of a particular thing, but you still put in all of the necessary effort to get there, right? So it's a really fun journey, because I'm usually okay with the outcome. It's always fun to get on the podium if you're doing a race. It's always fun to get the applause if you do something good. But for me, it's more important internally to just put in mega effort to try to get to where I want to be, right? So when I think about my parents and how they raised us, that's the journey. And I will say this: the single most catastrophic thing, the second most catastrophic thing I think that could happen to me, happened to me in January of this year when my mother passed away.
So sorry, man.
So there is, I appreciate it. So I mean, I think the only thing that could probably be worse for me is if you lose a child, right? But when my mom passed away, man, like it just parts of me that were just ripped away. And because of that, though, there's this energy of constantly working to honor her and to honor my dad. So the positive and fun energy that you get from me is because that's how they taught us to play, right? Like they told us, don't be afraid, don't be scared. So the most recent book that I wrote, Forged from Fire, which you can see behind me, Pieces to Prosperity, is really dedicated to my mother. She built us, she taught us to go through, and my dad also taught us to go through the hard times, to not be afraid. And even when you are afraid, to do it anyway. So the journey that I've been on in the personal world, raising children with my family, and then growing a company and things like that, it's all built on the backs of my parents, who told us no matter how afraid you are to do something, it's important for you to jump in and do it anyway. So, and I try to teach my kids the same thing. So being forged from fire really means that willing to withstand the heat, the challenges that come with life, and to keep walking anyway. And the pieces to prosperity component, the prosperity doesn't necessarily mean financial gain. The prosperity means you can look yourself in the mirror and have a level of peacefulness to you that says, you know that you're doing the things that you need to do in order to become the person that you want to become. Right. And that's where I am in my life, right? As it relates to going through a journey and just trying to figure out how to navigate the world and being at peace. That's not being complacent, though, Elisha. So I don't want that to be misinterpreted by the audience. Being peaceful and being complacent are very different. I'm still wildly ambitious, going to do the things I want to do, but I am at peace with myself, knowing that I've built systems internally and that I can focus on doing the stuff that I want to do my way, right? And navigate through the landscape to whatever my version of success might be. And I teach my kids the same thing, and anybody who's around me, I share the same life philosophy with them. So that's the journey we're on, man. And as I listen to you talk about the trees and the fruits and it's the ripe nature of it, it's that same thing. Nature does nothing unnaturally. And I do my part not to do anything unnaturally as well. Like there's no need to constantly swim against the current. Find the flow, get in the flow, go with the flow. And I think it makes your life easier, or create your own flow. But banging against too many walls unnecessarily doesn't make sense. So I've kind of transitioned out of that space to now a place of, peaceful prosperity, to know that I'll get there. We just have to keep trying.
This is beautiful, my man. And I learned a series of things while you were talking. To not swim against the current, go with the flow, go through the flow, or even create your own flow. That's amazing, my man. And I've got to say
Yeah,
this, you've got great parents, you see. Training your kids in the right way and feeding them with the right ideologies that becomes philosophy is really beautiful. You know, that part where you said they taught you not to be afraid. You're scared, do it anyway. That's a beautiful one.
for sure.
And I love that. And the part where
Yeah,
you also mentioned that you have to do what it takes to, achieve what you want. Even though the outcomes at times might not be guaranteed, but you just have to do it still. That's a beautiful one, my man.
for
You
sure.
see, you've blessed me right now. Thank you so much. So I've got some
That's cool,
questions
man.
here. Are you ready for me?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I am. I am.
Okay, so let us talk about discipline and consistency. All right. So what are the key habits that build discipline and consistency?
Yeah, that's a one of my favorite topics, Elisha. Discipline and consistency, right? I think many people who try to achieve something in the world think that there's this magic bullet, right? There's this formulaic response that one can do to magically appear to magically achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve. And I don't think that that's true. It's reps and sweat, it's blocking and tackling, it's getting up every morning with an intentional desire to be better. Oftentimes people talk about motivation, right? Motivation is an emotion. It's a feeling. Like if I'm inspired, I'm going to go lift weights. If I'm motivated, I'm going to go lift weights. I don't need to be motivated. The best people who do what they do in their respective fields, motivation comes and goes. You need to be disciplined. Discipline meaning you are willing to do the thing regardless of what the outcome may be. You're going to get up and go and run 3 miles. You're going to go and get up and ride your bike for 20 miles. You're going to get up and walk or swim or jump rope or do whatever you do. The discipline is the part that says, here's a thing that in order for me to achieve the thing that I want to achieve, I have to do that. Now, doing it 1 day or 2 days doesn't matter, right? The consistency is the catalyst behind that thing that says, I am going to tap into this scenario. And it's what creates the compound interest on top of the discipline. Day one doesn't matter. Day two doesn't matter. Day three doesn't matter. But day 415 certainly matters, right? There's a level of consistency when you're able to tap in and you're okay with boredom, because what happens, when you're consistent at something, you will hit a plateau, but then you'll grow. It's plateau, grow, plateau, grow, plateau, grow. And the reasons the plateaus are always so cool from my perspective is because after you reach a plateau, there's going to become a growth moment. Right. So the discipline is making sure you're in the gym doing the thing when no one is watching. Is making sure you get up to go and walk the 3 or 4 miles. It's making sure you do your push-ups, your abs. It's disciplining yourself to eat right and do the things that one needs to do to be okay. So that journey of discipline and consistency, and we see it. I mean, you see it in when you've talked to your guest or when we're watching movies or podcasts or we're going out in the world. We see it with the best of people who achieve whatever their version of success is. Right? To me, like discipline is like that. How do you say it? It's truly that bridge from where you are to where you want to be, because there is no magic that gets you there, and that the consistency is actually where the magic happens, right? Doing it over and over and over and over and over again, so that you get to the point. There's this quote that I don't know who said it, Elisha, but it rang true to me many, many years ago. And the quote goes, amateurs do something until they get it right. Professionals do something until they can't get it wrong. That's discipline and that's consistency.
Hmm, doing something until you cannot get it wrong. Wow. Discipline
Right.
is the bridge that connects us, that takes us from where we are to where we want to go, or where we desire to be. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Motivation is just a feeling. Discipline is what we need. Wow. This is beautiful stuff, Dr.
Right.
Jazz.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tell you.
Discipline is the decision, man. I think discipline is really the decision to go out and do all that other stuff. If you don't feel well, Who cares? Get up and do it anyway. And I think that's the part where when you look at your favorite athletes, and I talk about athletes a lot because it's an objective measure of how good that they become. A lot of those guys aren't emotional about it. They know what they have to do. If you look at the top CEOs, the top authors, the top speakers, they engage in deliberate practice, and you can only do that if you're disciplined, and you know that discipline bridge is going to get you to become the person you want to become.
Awesome. Just like every 9 to 5 worker, many times they don't feel like going to work, but they just have to do it anyways. I got
Yeah,
that. I got
for
that.
sure.
Okay, so let us talk about
Yeah.
developing a resilient mindset. So, how does a person develop a resilient mindset?
You develop a resilient mindset by 3 ways, right? Number one is trying things a lot. Because every time any of us start something, most of us don't start off great at anything. You have to practice, practice, practice. And throughout the practicing that you do, you're going to fail a lot. But when your aptitude and your abilities align, you're okay with the failure because you know that the failure simply means I am not good at this thing yet. It doesn't mean that I am unable to get good at it. It just means I'm not good at it yet. So the first thing you have to do is try. Trying gives you creates the motion and momentum to carry on. And as you try, you fall down, but because you enjoy the activity that you're doing, the resilient mindset says when I hit the ground, point number 2, I can get up. So I'm going to try, I'm going to fail, I'm going to try. I'm going to hit the ground, point 2 being I am going to get up no matter how many times I hit the ground. I'm going to get back up because the failure doesn't kill me. The falling doesn't kill me. Staying on the ground will, right? Number 3, when you want to build the resilient mindset is taking the lessons learned from those failures. And what you were talking about earlier is not just acquiring knowledge, but it's the intelligent direction of that knowledge, right? So you try, you fall, but as you fall, when you pick yourself up, you learn. Third step is to take the application of what you learned while falling or while you're on the ground and now intelligently directing that to get to the outcome where you want to be. So a resilient mindset is nothing more than having the willingness to be in the arena, to put in the absolute maximum effort for an objective that you may not achieve, but you've built systems along the way. And if you make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes and then you bounce back from those mistakes. So now when your decision process comes into play of what to do next in a particular situation, it becomes easier for you to do it because now you have this self-efficacy that says, hey, I actually know I can accomplish that thing. I know I can write the book. I know I can do the speech. I know I can start a podcast and be consistent with it. So knowing that you've been able to try, you learn who you are by doing. I think people think that they can think themselves into being who they are, right? Cartesian philosophy says, I think, therefore I am. In my brain, I've always modified that to say, I do, therefore I am. I think people learn who they are by doing. So as you try, you fail, you learn, you direct that knowledge from the failures in the direction where you want to go. And that also compounds on itself. So you build this self-efficacy, you build this self-confidence. You know that you've invested in yourself enough so that you're no longer really nervous before an event because you've put in the practice. And you know that if you fall, you are going to have the ability and willingness to get right back up and keep running the race. So that mindset shift of that growth mindset as opposed to that fear mindset allows people to carry on. Resiliency means I'm willing to bend, but I won't break, right? And if something breaks, it's been catastrophic in one's life. But even in those scenarios, people learn to bounce back. So I think that's how people build a resilient mindset is by 1, trying, number 2, failing and learning, number 3, intelligently directing the knowledge that they acquired from falling.
This is beautiful and well explained. I am willing to bend but not break. Fall 7, get up 8. I got that.
For sure.
All right, man.
Yeah.
So let us talk about your wonderful book, Forged from
Uh-huh.
Fire. So what is the inspiration behind that beautiful book and how was the writing process like?
Yeah, the writing process is cool for me, man. When I wrote my very first book in 2012, my mom asked me if I were to write a book, what would it be about? And I told her I didn't know. And she said, well, write down a table of contents, right? If you were to write a story, structure it, what would you talk about? So that has been my process for over a decade now. So Forge from Fire is book number 5. So when I started to feel the stories, the whispers come to write the book, the first thing I did, I wrote a table of contents. And my mom was alive at the time, you know, and I told her I was going to write the table of contents. And we know once I write the table of contents, the stories start coming to me. So the inspiration behind writing Forge from Fire was to honor my mom, to honor my dad, and what they taught us, and that resilience, that perseverance, that faith, that patience, that persistence, that, integrity, and all of the elements of character that command respect. I wanted to incorporate those into a story. And my mom and grandmother always told me never to not die with the story inside of me. So if there's something inside of me, it's important to tell that story. And it may sound cliche, Elisha, but I think it's true. If you write something or you offer some value via the written or spoken word to somebody and it impacts at least one person, it's worth it. So when I wrote Forge from Fire, that story isn't unique in the sense of life was so difficult, right? The story is unique to me because it's all of our stories, right? We're all going through life at the same time. We're facing challenges. We're climbing our own mountains. But so many of us think that we're going through this journey alone when it's just not true. It's not true at all, right? If you're middle aged and your parents are still alive and you have kids, we're all doing the same thing. You're dealing with your elderly parents, you're raising your kids, you're trying to build or climb a ladder. Meanwhile, you're trying to stay healthy so that you can help all of the people around you. So that was the impetus of writing Forge from Fire, to say, hey, I'm in the fire currently, but at some point I'm going to come out of this thing. And as I'm walking through the fire, I want you to, let's hold hands and let's walk through the fire together, because we're not alone. So it was my way. It was therapy for me. I kind of wrote my way out, of situations, because a good part of my growth, Elisha, I can say the word mom now without actually crying. That's actually a pretty good step.
Yeah.
Because when she passed away, man, it was months before I could even talk about my mom without completely melting. The last thing she said to me, before she stopped talking was, all right, love you, baby boy, good night. So I hear that every night before I go to bed. So to honor her and to say, and my dad, who has advanced dementia, so he doesn't know us either, right? So to honor my parents, to say, hey, you raised us in the fire, you taught us how to walk through the fire, and we're also going to walk out of the fire, and we're going to teach people how to do it along the way. There's a roadmap to it, right? And on my life journey, I don't have all the answers, but I certainly have systems in place that have allowed me to navigate decently well. So that was the motivation behind writing that book. Number one, don't die with the story inside of me. Number two, if any of our individual stories impacts anybody else, it's worth telling it from my perspective.
Very, very true, I tell you. Because just one individual can change the lives of many. I got that.
For sure.
Okay, my man. So I'm going to take that as a final thought for folks who like to reach out to you, learn more about the wonderful stuff you're doing, or make a purchase of your books. How can that be possible?
Yeah, they can find me on a couple different on Instagram at, C Thomas _Jr. You can find me there. You can go to charlesthomasjr.com is the website. And Forge from Fire and the other books are also on Amazon. So you can certainly find the books there, and I hope that they are of value, right? So they all tell different stories, creative nonfiction works that are written with the hopes of offering value to the readers. So that's where, but you can certainly find those on Amazon for sure.
Beautiful.
And shout out to you, man. I think thank you for what you're doing and allowing people to have a voice on your platform, and your calm energy when you're talking, and the way you listen and can reframe the message. It's pretty cool, man. So I appreciate what you're doing as well.
Thank you so very much, my man. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you for coming, Dr. Charles, and thank you for sharing this wonderful stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, man.